Let's bring in Lisa Boothe, Fox News political analyst. All right, Lisa, great to see you today. Let's start with this.
Hi, Shannon. Good to see you.
Congresswoman Crockett is great at getting media. And listen, there's a point at which it was reported she refused to or declined an invitation to join the squad. Now it seems like she's capturing all the headlines they would have gotten in the past. Is she just good at this? Is she the new face of the Democratic Party?
I hope so, because, you know, she's terrible, right? She's obviously lying. She meant this as an insult, and she's clearly not sorry. But look, I don't think Governor Abbott cares, right? Despite having to deal with low-life people like this ever since his accident, he is governor of one of the most powerful states and most populated and largest states in America. He's on his third term. He won his last re-election by 55%. Congresswoman Crockett is so insignificant and small in comparison. And if anything, these two individuals represent American politics today. You have one person with Jasmine Crockett on the left who's all bark, no bite. She's just a yapper. She's also a phony because if you watch her interviews prior to entering Congress, she was an entirely different person. She's a woman of privilege attending private schools, you know, worth tens of thousands of dollars, yet tries to play the victim card. So she's all bark, no bite, does nothing with her life. And then you've got someone like Governor Abbott, who's actually experienced real adversity in life, yet goes on to be governor, actually has to be effective, has to govern and get things done on behalf of the American people. And that, in a nutshell, is the party of the left and the party of the right.
Well, I expect we will hear and see more from her, so stand by. But at the same time we're debating that issue, nearly all Democratic lawmakers are refusing to condemn the violence, the vandalism against Tesla cars. People have nothing to do with Elon Musk, but the dealerships, the charging stations. There have been dozens of attacks in recent weeks all across the country. Now, some even include the use of gunshots and Molotov cocktails. Leftists are using violence to express their outrage over Tesla CEO Elon Musk's role in the Trump administration. But here's reaction from Democratic lawmakers when they were asked directly about these attacks.
Can you tell us what you think about what's happening with the Tesla products, the violence at the dealerships? What's your take on the situation?
I'm so sorry, I'm a little bit late here right now.
What's your take on it? Do you denounce the violence?
Why are people so upset when they see a Tesla in the parking lot?
You know, I can't comment to that, you know, in terms of public sentiment. So,
but do you think Democrats are to blame for why people are so triggered by this? Because
no, absolutely not.
So one of the groups pushing the protest is calling for a global day of action against Tesla on Saturday. Now, the website pushing these protests says it's only supporting non-violent demonstrations. Melissa, Fox News and Fox News Digital, we've reached out to numerous Democrats, including 13 of them who sponsored domestic terrorism legislation. So far, no answers.
Well, unfortunately, I think they support it. I think their silence tells you everything. And what we're seeing with Tesla, this isn't an outlier. This is the norm in the Democrat Party. You can go back to the Weather Underground bombings in the 1970s. And what have we seen in recent time as well? 2 attempted assassinations against then-candidate Donald Trump. Brett Kavanaugh, almost an attempted assassination against Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Lee Zeldin was almost stabbed in his gubernatorial race in New York. We've seen fire bombings against a pregnancy center. We all remember in 2017 the congressional shootings where Steve Scalise almost lost his life at the hands of a Bernie Sanders volunteer. So this isn't an outlier. This is the norm in the Democrat Party. And it's not just action, it's the rhetoric as well. It was Joe Biden who said that President or then candidate Donald Trump should be put in the crosshairs just days before he was almost assassinated. So, you know, we're not going to hear a condemnation from them because they support it, unfortunately, in my opinion.
Well, we've seen a few lower-level Democrats, but I think we'd all like to see a more full-throated and higher-profile denunciation of the actual physical violence here and destruction. Okay, so blue states now are continuing to resist President Trump's executive order. He signed this to try to keep people born biologically male out of women's and girls' sports. Pennsylvania's state Senate just advanced a bill to protect girls' sports. Comments from a Democratic senator objecting to the measure getting a lot of attention. Listen in.
Female bodies are just as strong, as fast and capable as male bodies. I want all girls to know that there are elected officials like me who would never underestimate your ability to beat a boy at their own sport. Because that's what the premise of this bill assumes, that female bodies are less than male bodies. For what reason, other than political gain, are we spending time and taxpayer dollars on a completely made-up issue.
So critics having a field day here. Just a few posts in response. Quote, "This is a lie. How about she come to the gym and we match her up with a 14-year-old boy? He'll make her tap out in seconds." Another, "The NFL doesn't ban women. They tried a female kicker, but women are no match physically. But these loons lie about everything," end quote. One more, quote, "Denying basic biology to push some weird gender-bending, politically correct rubbish. I'm sick of woke trying to cancel women's sports." Well, the Department of Education has announced a Title IX civil rights investigation of Portland, Oregon's public school system this week. At issue, a biologically born male absolutely trouncing the competition at a girls' high school track meet, winning the 400-meter race by more than 7 seconds. Okay, Lisa, I thought when I saw this lawmaker, it sounds like she's trying to be kind and encouraging to girls, like don't let them make you think you're anything less. Less than is different than different than.
Well, we know that the science tells us that men are just stronger, right? We've seen studies where men have upper body strength up to 60% more, up to 30% more lower body strength. So men are just stronger, scientifically speaking. But beyond that, I'm so thankful to President Trump for just telling the truth about this, even beyond the men and women's sports, telling you the truth that men are men, women are women in this country, that keeping men out of women's sports, also keeping men out of women's lockers, because I'm sorry, I think it's pretty perverted if a man wants to be in a woman's locker room as she's showering, as she's changing. We have to protect women from that. Also protecting children and young people from the mutilation of their bodies as well. I mean, there's so many detransitioners you can speak with, who went through hell, right, and had no adults protecting them. So thank you, President Trump, for standing up for what is right, for telling the truth, and trying to bring this country back to common sense. And if the Democrats want to stand in the way of that, be my guest. We all know that we're talking about 80-20 issues. If they want to take the 20%, go ahead.
Yeah, vast majority of Americans, and it seems it cuts across party lines too, are where the president is at on this. So we'll follow those federal investigations in the various states. Lisa Boothe, always good to see you.
Shannon, always a pleasure. Take care.
Thank you. All right. You too. Democrats throwing all sorts.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.